Pritchard, any chance you're still there?
Jensen, my God. You've been offline for days. Where the hell are you?
I was hoping you'd tell me.
I'm pinging you now. You're in Singapore. Something's wrong, Jensen. I pinged you, and a second later I lost your GPL signal. It's like you disappeared into a black hole.
Gotta be a jammer.
Well, obviously. If you can find the transmitter and take it offline, I'll be able to track you. And keep you on a tighter leash.
I've got more important things to do than help you keep tabs on me. If Megan and her team are here, there's no time to waste.
Boy, that was a long nap.
God damn. That cutscene was like a perfect analogy for the extremely long hiatus there.
Yeah, if you replace Adam Jensen with me and his mission with this LP, then you've got a pretty sweet analogy there. So welcome back everyone to this next part of Deus Ex Human Revolution. Can't remember what part it's on because I haven't played this game in 3 years, but I still love it. It's one of those games, I guess.
What's crazy is in the time between the last episode and this one...
Joining me today is Mr. DJB as always.
Of course. But in the time between the last episode and this one, the sequel to this game came out. Mankind Divided is now a thing, so...
I don't care about that.
That's crazy to me, because, like, the name Mankind Divided kind of implies to me that it's going to be a game all about transhumanism and the ethics of... It's not. It's really not?
It's some covert bullshit. It's more story-driven about... It's more literal as well. I like the themes that Human Revolution deals with. It's more Renaissance-era philosophy. And Mankind Divided is more... What did Adam Jensen do? Who did a crime on him?
So, I guess the way to look at it is Mankind Divided is kind of like a sequel that they weren't really planning to make because this game was super successful.
I think Square Enix saw that Human Revolution made a lot of money, and I don't think the devs were planning to make a sequel. Right here, I'm actually trying to remember the controls to make Adam Jensen eat a cereal bar so he can punch people. Because he needs batteries to punch people.
He's like Popeye, but with cereal bars instead of spinach.
Yeah, he just squeezes the I don't know, a brand of cereal.
The frosty cereal bar into his mouth.
You know, all his augmentations bulge up, and then he punches two guys, and that costs.
And then he looks at the screen and goes, "They're great."
Except he doesn't. See, it's been such a long time, the guards are nice and fall over for him there.
Oh, that was good of them.
Yeah, very nice. He's a bit rusty, both literally and as the sort of saying implies that it's been a while for him. And also he got water on his iron parts. Imagine getting rust in your brain. Ugh.
Oh god, that's a horrible visual thought, visual image there. Ugh. Don't like that.
So yeah, I'm cutting out most of the pilfering. Let's go ahead straight to the story. We have to disable a blocker for the GPLs, which are the little microchips in everyone's brains, in the scientists' brains, which Sarif uses to track them.
Oh, okay.
This is Eliza Kassan reporting to you live.
Yeah, Human Revolution kind of skips over the ethical dilemma of putting GPSs in people to track them.
It's like 1984 taken to a logical extreme of literally, we know where you are at any given time.
I think by now it's already been dealt with. What a nice security code. What a complex security code. It's like your bank number.
Hey, my bank number 2487 is very, very secure and no one could possibly guess it. And I'll also thank you not to disclose it on this LP.
Jensen. 4 of our GPL signals just popped up, including yours. Koss, Colvin, Faraday. I'm not picking up Dr. Reed.
Send me the coordinates you do have. And Pritchard, tell Sarif.
I can't. While you were incommunicado, Mr. Darrow invited him, Bill Taggart, and the UN delegates to Panchea. They're halfway to the Arctic by now.
Great.
Whoa, I dig the,
I'm not hacking anymore. Hacking is boring. There's always two ways around any given problem, and the new way around the hacking problem, and there was no way around before, is using a hacking device. We don't need the practice points. The hacking minigame is boring, so I keep it to lower levels when it's easy and doesn't take a long time.
Well, didn't you do the DLC, which got you a whole bunch of, like, practice points and all that jazz, or...?
It would, except for that doesn't stick over in the vanilla game. It's loaded up differently. It's loaded through the main menu. In the director's cut of the game, it flows straight through the campaign. So you do keep things.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just, even with all the hacking upgrades, level 5 just takes a long time.
I guess that's why there's so much speeding up and Star Wars style screen wipes going on right now.
Yeah, I'm cutting out the pilfering and the knocking guys out because you know what, you've seen it, you know what it's like, you know what it looks like.
Doink.
And also this episode would be 2 hours long if I didn't, and that would mean that we'd have to sit here recording it for 4 hours in total because the first time crashed. Yay!
Thanks, Audacity.
Ugh. So here's the other location where you can disable the trackers. And for this area, when you're knocking guys out, of course, you know what to do. You go behind, you take the guys out at the back in the highest position, so you work your way around in a little spiral, working your way around the circumference. You just do a little spirally spoo, knocking all the guys out into the middle of the courtyard, and you won't get spotted.
It's been so long, it's like refreshed for me how very brutal some of these quote-unquote pacifist animations are. This game has an interesting interpretation of what the word pacifist means.
Hey, they don't die. They just go unconscious forever.
So it's like the Undertale interpretation of, as long as you can beat a motherfucker to near death, but as long as you don't finish them off, it's fine, you're a good dude.
So I actually had a problem with this dude because I was tracking him out of the way and I developed telekinesis. Like, hello, I'm waving to you now with my mind powers.
Oh god,
I'm just imagining Adam's arms stretching out. I'm really sad they didn't render them. It's just suck him in.
Adam Jensen's gross spaghetti arms.
That's delicious, delicious spaghetti.
That's one spicy meatball.
David, that was very insensitive. That guard was Italian.
Well, now he's unconscious.
Robot Italian. It's just turned invisible because I don't want to hack anymore.
How does that even work? Like,
lasers.
Turning invisible.
Yeah, lasers pass through. It's light. They pass through invisible things.
I'm sure physical mass would still be recognised. Like,
who would think? Because he's invisible. Light can go through invisible things. It's like, you know how windows work, right?
If you're invisible, do you cast a shadow?
No.
That's
Do
weird
windows
to me.
cast a shadow? Sort of, a little one, but not enough.
Invisibility is a crazy concept. I can't quite wrap my head around it.
God, I'm going to put you in front of a green screen and make your mind explode.
Oh, hey.
Morpheus, that reminds me of another science fiction cyberpunk adventure. I think it's called Blade Runner. Doors, that reminds me of another cyberpunk adventure. Jesus.
I was going to say, the crazy thing about Blade Runner is I've actually only seen it for the first time like a week ago.
Ow.
Massively enjoyed it. I'm really upset that I missed out on that growing up like everybody else in the world.
First time you got to see an R-rated film.
I know.
So back there we went through a little purification chamber where we got steamed a bit. Do you think that's a loading screen?
I assume so.
Because it looks like one. It looks like one, doesn't it? It looks like a Mass Effect elevator. It's not.
It's part of the story, or?
Well, I mean, it's a science lab. They will have decontamination chambers. It's not a loading screen. You can walk around it. There's another way into the building, and you don't have to go through it. It's not a loading screen.
It's just immersion. Ooh, fancy.
Ooh.
And hey, nothing wrong with having a nice futuristic steam shower and get rid of the stank.
I think it ties into a type of rendering that devs do that allows them to have larger levels where they only render the immediate vicinity. So it just gives a bit of time for that to catch up. So I'm only going to show one of the offices in this little office block, and that is the security room, right at the back here for one interesting reason to do a gameplay, which I haven't shown yet.
Oh?
So I tried... Yeah, you can see on the minimap there's 2 guys in there. I tried wet bandaging the hallway so they'd come out.
That'd be great if that could actually work.
This isn't Hitman, it doesn't work, unfortunately. So, as any given thing in this game, there's always another way in. I bet there's going to be an air vent in this office room.
If you're correct on this, goddamn that intuition.
Oh, look at that air vent. It's as though the developers wanted there to always be 2 simultaneous ways around a obstacle.
That said, I'm going to have to part the veil just a little bit. This is the first part of this Deus Ex LP that I was there during the recording process, and I could see all the dark secrets as to how you actually record these.
Yeah, it's as though I use save scumming to achieve good angles and want a good recording so everything looks coherent.
And the Deus Ex wiki, admit it.
Yeah, and I look up tips, tricks, and elite skills. Because it's been 3 years since I played.
Okay, that's fair. What's the deal with these 2 guards right here?
So I can't knock them out because they're both sat down playing Angry Birds. You can't use the shockwave because it's rubbish. You can't knock them out because the other guy will hear it. You can't suffocate one through his helmet because the other guy will hear it. I tried tranking one in the head. You know, send a bit of tranquilizer poison through his helmet.
Right.
And whilst that poison's enacting, I just choke that guy out. It actually makes sense there.
That would take some.
There's no such thing as holding breath, but that guy realised and just flops around a bit.
Oh, that doesn't count. He literally had a split second of noticing you.
Yeah, you lose your ghost rank for that because of the animation.
Well, then what?
You don't have to knock them out. Despite the fact that you're stood 2 feet away from them, an inch away from them at one point, they don't notice.
The correct solution is to just join them in their office while they're playing Angry Birds, sit on your computer, and just work alongside them, and they are so dense they won't notice you do that.
They're on break. They're not paid right now. They don't get paid breaks.
That's amazing.
Is this the same facility that burned down when we were as a child?
Oh?
It looks like it because they've been following us. They must want our blood, our cyber blood that's milky white.
That sweet milky cyber blood. Ugh.
As seen in Aliens.
Okay, so the plot thickens then.
It more develops a little bit of a gel, sort of like when you whip cream. I think it's more like that. The plot's doing that. So yeah, in the security office you can turn off the cameras. There's lots of little emails that you can read, but I'm just cutting that out, cutting through spitting on people's desks, knocking everyone out to be a dick.
I was like, Adam sounds like he's just being a public menace right now, not really doing any kind of espionage. He's just harassing the members of this office.
It harkens back to the days when he played Shadowrun and he'd loot every encounter, because he was also playing as a thief as well as a professional corporate espionage professional. Speaking of espionage, I love it when my janitor's cubby is right next to my hospital bed. That's really sanitary. Sorry, I got a bit of bleach in your blood. I guess you're gonna die now. Bye. Guess I contaminated all the results. Guess I'm gonna steal pills off of patients.
Oh, rude! That is so very rude.
Serves them right for not sleeping under the covers. I'm just gonna trace them to mark them, make sure no one steals them. And I'm gonna look at their board because there's a reference to a very relevant meme right there.
Oh, old memes. Lord knows neurosurgeons like their memes.
Especially, well, I mean, they are millennials. They are millennials in this, so... Oh, God.
Oh, the millennials are the old generation now. Oh, God.
That word didn't exist when this game came out.
In the last episode of this LP, that word didn't exist.
Adam Jensen's a millennial. He's the same age as us, actually.
Oh, that's fantastic. Goddamn.
Oh, we're not going to be doing in the nuclear apocalypse.
We're old and irrelevant.
So yeah, I saved this one because up until now we thought Megan Reed was completely dead, no signs of life. But look, an email.
Oh.
She's doing work for these people. Oh, the crime. Can you believe it?
Oh dear, Megan.
Megan read this email.
I thought we were a thing, Megan. Were we a thing? I can't actually remember if we were a thing.
They were. They broke up prior to Deus Ex Human Revolution.
We were a thing, Megan!
Adam? Adam Jensen? Good grief, lad. What the blazes happened to you?
I made the mistake of surviving. I'm here to get you out, Dr. Faraday.
I told Vasily that Sarif wouldn't stop looking.
Sevchenko's dead, Dr. Faraday. I'm sorry.
I figured as much. One day he was just gone, and they wouldn't say why. We were all afraid, so we just kept to the work.
Oh my god, he's so English.
They forced me to create a signal pattern that could broadcast software upgrades directly into a person's implanted circuitry.
Upgrades? That do what?
Whatever instructions have been encoded into them. They said it was to improve efficiency at clinics, but that wouldn't be the only application. Far from it.
Really? What about Dr. Reed? Her GPL signal isn't broadcasting. Do you know where she is?
In the secured zone. You'll never get in there. Too many guards.
A distraction might encourage them to leave the area. Say, an incident in one of the labs.
A bold plan, my boy. But one small incident would never be enough.
No, you're right. But 3 simultaneous accidents might.
I like your style, son. And it just might work if you can get Nia and Eric to agree. But timing them to occur at once, that will be the trick.
I'll worry about the timing. For now, sit tight and wait for my signal.
There's one thing you're forgetting, lad. They can track our GPL signals.
I thought as much. But we have no choice.
There may be something. Vasily wanted to upload a virus onto their security network. Disable their GPL protocols. Eric or Nia might know more about it.
What the fuck was I about to say there?
I'm still looking for Dr. Koss. I don't suppose you could point me in the right direction.
Eric showed an amazing bit of courage a few weeks back. Slipped a note into one of the project reports, telling me they've got him locked inside a lab on the 3rd floor of the Microgen building. I suspect, though, they'll have cameras and other security devices protecting it. You'll have to be on your guard.
Toot. That's not a thing British people say.
You know what we say.
The kidnapping, the facility.
Not really. Remarkable, considering I've been here 6 months. You would have thought someone would let something slip. But if it doesn't have to do with the research, you don't get a word out of them.
Sounds like the guards are well trained. But what kind of threats were needed to stop the other researchers from talking?
Well, there were threats early on just to get us to work. Of course, Vasily saw right through that. Kept saying they needed us. I suppose in his case, the risk outstripped the return at some point. Damn them.
Dr. Sevchenko probably knew the risks and accepted them.
That he did. Go on, lad. Let's put this plan of yours into action. It's time to teach these wankers a lesson.
Oh, the bloody wankers!
I haven't found her yet.
They've done a good job keeping us all separated, but I suspect she'll be in the Microgen building. There's a skywalk connecting the 2 buildings. If you can find it, you won't have to go back outside.
Oh, bloody hell!
Gotcha. Just be ready. When you feel your GPL vibrate, set off that distraction.
Understood, lad. But do be careful.
You know what? Under closer inspection, this game hasn't aged well, graphically speaking.
Oh, that's sad to hear.
The environments look lovely, the art design is superb, the coloration is fantastic. But people don't look good. They look very angular and very polygonal.
Polygonal. I think that...
Polygonal?
Well, if you think about it, this game is like a generation and a half old by this point, so...
Yeah.
More beautiful looking things have come since.
They did want a art design similar to what Dishonored was like before Dishonored, but they went a bit more naturalistic with it, so there's more exaggerated points on facial features. Oh, I'm such a badass. Look at all the poo gas
Oh
smell.
no,
This is the other way in.
poo gas.
It's green for smell.
Oh god.
You've ever heard of carbon monoxide? It's colourless and odourless.
Nah, it's gotta be poo gas all the way. That's the way we
Yeah.
do here.
Stinky green poo gas. So there was actually a door code written on the wall there, which I've been on construction sites, and I can say for sure that's not a thing. You know, you don't get
Well, I
You
mean,
don't get
people
door codes written on.
generally you don't write secure codes anywhere. That's what makes them secure.
Yeah.
Writing them down kind of compromises that. You know? That's what memories are for.
No. Adam Jensen took the wrong turn at Albuquerque back there. So this is the other side of the courtyard. We're going to knock all these guys out. It's going to be important for later to have them out of the way.
I do remember you playing through this part while I watched your recording setup, and you had a few tense situations of trying to interact with a certain computer without getting caught, which was fun to watch.
Timing is a pain in the arse on this bit, because there's not enough time to both knock that guy out and hack into the turret and turn it off all in one. Especially because there's a little loading window when you log onto a computer. It doesn't freeze time and it doesn't happen instantly.
Oh.
So what you have to do is that you have to wait for that guy to finish his patrol before you can hack and turn everything off. If you don't do it, he catches you just at the other end, just as his cone of vision catches you. So you have to wait.
That sucks.
You have to wait. And I have to edit out all the waiting so this episode isn't an hour long. Which it nearly is.
I like his high-speed, slow waddling, though.
Yeah.
That's pretty great.
A little bit of shaky there. A little bit of a roll.
Now, if you're not doing a ghost run at this point, you are more than welcome to activate that turret, pick it up, walk it around, and have it kill everybody for you. And
Which
it's
we
great.
will be using in a part coming up. There's a little workaround in the vanilla game.
Oh.
Because they redesigned the boss fights, they expanded the arenas, it doesn't work anymore. But you can use that. It's a life hack. It's an Adam Jensen video game life hack.
I think that's another. I think augmentation is basically synonymous with life hack when you think about it.
Apart from he's not a massive prick for having a cyber limb.
Access granted.
Oh, hello there.
So this is more the offices of the research and development area, and I wish they could research and develop some better doors. Jesus,
You are so bad at doors. What is going on? Oh, I'm digging this steam bath right here.
Yeah, it's how Adam Jensen achieves the perfect coifs in both his hair and beard.
You know, speaking of Adam Jensen's fashion, you noticed something recently about the guy.
Yep. So, I mentioned this in the recording yesterday, because I literally noticed it then, despite me loving this game and, you know, knowing it inside out. Adam Jensen, it just looks like he's wearing a turtleneck there, but if you look at his arms, they're cyber arms. That's his skin, basically. So he's wearing a turtleneck without sleeves. He's wearing a sleeveless turtleneck. I've only ever seen that in one other place, and that's JoJo's Bizarre Adventure when Dio wears it.
But the thing is, don't you have one of those?
I have a turtleneck and I have sleeveless vests, yeah, but not both at the same time.
Well,
that's
the
a bit
trick
weird.
then. You need to combine them into the ultimate clothing.
It was an item in women's fashion a while ago, and I can't believe I know that because I despise fashion to its core. And I'm not just saying that as someone who wears black all the time and wears clothes from the 90s. I dress like a Tool fan, which I kind of am.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. You pick your own style.
Archetypal Downward Spiral and 9 Inch Nails fan. Imagine that's me.
With a slight hint of anime.
A little bit. Yeah, knock that bastard out. There was some lovely showers back there.
Yeah, get down.
So we're going to take the express lift up. We're going to crawl through the vents, which are somehow big enough to fit a person because air needs a lot of space to get around. It's an elemental. It's a literal elemental.
There's two things about the vents in this game. For one, why are they as large as they are? Why are they all literally the same design? And okay, there's three things. The last thing is, why do they open so easily? If they were just screwed in, you know, like vents often are, then they'd be a lot harder to navigate.
Rebuttal for point number 3, Adam Jensen is strong and can rip them up. For number 2 and 1, it's game design. It's so you can do a thing. So we're going to sneak into the the old kidnapped scientist's office here. If you remember her from right at the beginning of the game, she had one line of dialogue. And that makes her a core NPC to the story.
Fleshed out character.
Get the hell out! This lab is off limits to you people.
Nice to see you too, Dr. Goldman.
What? Wait a second. I know you. You were Sarif's security guy. Way to protect our asses.
Hey, check the attitude, Doc. I nearly died trying to save you.
Oh, and now you're here to take me back. Well, maybe I don't want to go. Maybe I've got more here than I ever had at Sarif.
Would Vasily Savchenko agree with that? They executed him and dumped his body in a ditch.
That's not true.
Believe it. Unless these murderers have you so brainwashed, you don't mind building their toys.
It wasn't a toy. It was a software upgrade that limits functionalities in a biochip. They told me it was for crowd control. Is Vasily really dead? You saw the body?
What was left of it?
Oh my god. I should have listened to him.
Dr. Colvin, I need to free Megan Reed and get everyone else out of here. It means causing simultaneous accidents in 3 labs.
Declan and Eric. Of course. Interesting idea, Mr. Jensen. Ambitious, but risky. The timing will be critical.
I'll coordinate the attack. But you understand that this could all backfire.
I'm no shrinking violet, Mr. Jensen, but there may be another issue.
The GPL tracker, I know. I also know about the virus Dr. Savchenko developed. The one meant to interfere with their security.
One step ahead. Just like Vasily. It's a good plan. However, I don't have the virus program. Perhaps you should check with Declan or Eric.
So we getting all the scientists to basically collude with us.
Yeah.
I haven't yet located Eric Koss, Dr. Colvin. Do you know where they're keeping him?
He's working in a lab on the 3rd floor. There's an elevator that might get you there. It's on the 2nd floor, though, and I heard the guard say something about that floor being shut off. But then again, with those neuro enhancements of yours, you might find a way to get into it.
Dr. Colvin, I need to know I can trust you. You seemed pretty happy to be here until I told you about Dr. Savchenko.
It's been 6 months, Mr. Jensen. Not long for you, perhaps, but how long can a person live in constant fear? Once they took us out of isolation, it just seemed easier to concentrate on the work.
Did all of you feel that way?
Vasily didn't. Maybe not Declan either, but the work we do here, the discussions, and the theories. I thought Sarif's projects were far-reaching, but the experiments I've seen going on here, it's the kind of stuff DARPA dreams up every day.
Only without governmental oversight keeping you in line.
I suppose I'm just a typical scientist to you, right, Mr. Jensen? Blindly pushing boundaries? No care for who's footing the bill or how our discoveries get made?
We all have to live with ourselves at the end of the day, Dr. Colvin.
You're right, of course. But were things so different in Detroit? We all know where those Sarif contracts came from, don't we? You asked me if you could trust me. You can. But you better get on with this.
I will. In the meantime, stay tuned for the signal. You'll feel a vibration in your GPL. That'll be the time to set off the distraction.
I'll be ready. And I'm sorry about what I said.
Yeah, when you hear a mic drip in your brain vibrate and burst out of your ears, exploding your brain, that's the signal.
That's a pretty good signal, hard to miss.
Yeah, imagine having like a phone vibrator in your skull.
Oh, oh god. I get anxious enough when I hear phone calls. I don't need them in my brain.
Oh, look. A Nigerian scam. I guess it's his great-great-grandson.
I was going to say, do those still exist?
In this world, yeah. But didn't you find out that the Nigerian prince died and his son took over the scam?
Shall I tell the story of Mr. Kofi Williams? Okay, years ago, my friend Neve and I... Well, Neve got a spam email from a Kofi Williams about donating all your money and starting a big foreign business. There are practically no risk involved, all that nonsense.
Yeah.
And then a few years later, we did a bit of Googling to learn more about it. And then we saw online that there was a circulated spam email by a Koji William, who was Kofi Williams' son. and we found out that they were like estranged and they didn't care much for each other. And then there was like a whole family tree, a family kind of ordeal going on. And we were like, are these scam emails telling a story? Is this a complicated story that's being like... Is this performance art, is what I was questioning about those spam emails.
I think it is. I think it is at this point.
We were even sadder to hear that in one of Koji's emails, or whatever he was called, Kofi, the original, had actually died. But then his fortune was still being handed over, so it's like... Did he fake his own death to spite his son? We were really building a big plotline out of this.
I'm imagining sort of Always Sunny when Charlie's in the mailroom, that sort of thing, and you guys are like putting up pins like, this means something.
We were so interested in these scam emails and the story they were telling. They were great. It's kind of like this game sometimes.
So yeah, back there was an elevator that I unheaved. That's the quickest way up. I decided to not look at the elevator and take the long way round.
Oh, good gameplay, yo.
I wanted to be a dick and take out all the cameras and knock everyone out.
For all those sweet XPs you don't need anymore.
Because the one thing I want to do is make this last longer, apparently. I just like knocking guys out. I think it's funny. So let's drag him somewhere where he's not going to be seen. Woo. Let's not put him in there. I think people will see him and that will be a bit uncomfortable.
Are we really just playing hide the body right now?
Yeah, we're playing...
Where do we put this guy while he's sleeping?
Let's try in here. Let's see. Yeah, this looks good. An abandoned office and... Oh no. I'll be on my way. Don't mind me. Come on, Steve.
Come on, let's find a new place. This is like Weekend at Bernie's crossover with Deus Ex.
Let's try and hit... Hang on, do the NPCs care?
Wow. I didn't think they'd let you guys out of the high security area.
I don't think they care.
No, they don't. They don't care.
Huh.
It's because they don't have proper AI to recognize bodies. They think that we're one of the security guys.
So they...
With all our military orgs.
So you could literally just bring in all the guards into one room, pile them on top of each other, and the scientists will just look at that like, yeah, par for the course, it's probably some training exercise they do.
What do you want? I told you people not to barge in here. Wasn't the new biochip design enough?
Dr. Koss, I'm here to get you out.
Jensen? From Sarif? But we were told we'd been written off.
Not exactly.
Listen, Jensen. They forced me to work for them. I didn't want to create the new biochip, especially since it was based on Sarif's research, but they didn't give me a choice.
No one doubts your loyalty, Dr. Koss. Do you know what they plan to do with this new biochip?
Yeah, in a sec.
I'm not sure. They said something about having Tai Young Medical produce it and distribute it through Lim, but I can't be sure.
I've already been in touch with Colvin and Faraday, and we've come up with a plan. If the three of you set off simultaneous explosions in your labs, it might allow me to access the secured area and find Megan. Then we all get out of here.
Isn't that a little risky? Besides, how will we coordinate these accidents? It's impossible.
Maybe not. But it's that or staying here and eventually ending up like Dr. Sevchenko.
They killed him, didn't they? He kept provoking them, coming up with these wild escape plans. They try to keep us apart as much as possible now. All right, Mr. Jensen. I'm with you. What's our next move?
Listen, Dr. Koss. Dr. Sevchenko had a plan to neutralize the GPL tracker.
Yes, he wanted to upload a viral program onto the security control computer to scramble all of their equipment. He gave me a copy in case anything happened to him. Here, I never had the courage to use it. Besides, we had nowhere to go.
This guy just doesn't stand still. What's his deal?
The computer I need to upload this to. Where's it located?
Vasily mentioned a tunnel near the back of the compound. I think it leads to the restricted area's security terminals, but... well, I've never used it myself. I wish I could be more helpful, or even go with you. But...
do you have to address the scientists in this order?
No.
Dr. Koss, the biochip you mentioned was based on Sarif studies?
Yes, I believe so. At first I thought it was merely convergent research, but I've worked with Dr. Reed long enough to recognize her handiwork. Besides, I had been working on something similar back in Detroit.
And your knowledge of it made you invaluable here.
At least to a certain extent, it probably helped us all stay alive. But now with Dr. Shevchenko, I guess we've all become expendable. Except for Dr. Reed, I suppose.
Why do you say that?
It's more of a general feeling, I guess. Back in Detroit, we all realized that we were on the verge of something groundbreaking. And here, well, everyone seems to view her research as crucial in some way.
That might explain why she's being held in a secured area.
Possibly. I'm just glad we're going home. It's kind of hard to believe.
Stay put, Dr. Koss. Once I upload this virus, you'll have to do your part. When you feel a vibration from your GPL, that's the signal to set off the explosion.
I'll wait, Mr. Jensen. But hurry.
Can't wait for my head to explode, hooray!
All the explosions. My brain, the lab, probably us.
So yeah, you don't have to do these in order, that's why the dialogue repeats itself 3 times. Well, it repeats itself twice.
But I like that every scientist has their own little input into the whole situation, though, so it is worth talking to all of them.
Great minds think alike, they all have the same idea, apparently. Of using someone else's idea. Just gonna steam my hair for a bit.
Us.
Boy, do I love not loading screens. Do the safety dance. Get both sides.
You can dance if you want to. You can leave your friends behind.
The guy that did that wonderful video also made one for Mankind Divided. And he did a remix. The remix version of it.
That's so good.
And Elias Tufax has acknowledged... Elias Tufax has played... does play games, I think. I know we did a video where a video interview, but he has acknowledged the safety dance and he loves it. So yeah, this is another location where you can get the laser rifle. We're going to keep that for later. Also the crossbow, we used that a while ago. It's alright, it's a lethal weapon unfortunately, unlike the original Deus Ex games.
If you are doing a lethal run though, it's pretty fantastic.
Yeah, silent and infinite ammo. So I'm breaking the fourth wall, a bit of metagaming, a bit of foresight, depending on how you want to word it. Some guys are going to run through that door, so we're going to prepare beforehand. And we're using a technique that I used earlier in the LP when we went through the Taoyong medical offices. We're going to combine a gas grenade with a mine template to make a gas mine. And if you remember, not all the enemies spawn in the same location, and one of them lags behind, so we can't knock all of them out at the same time. Also, with this robot, you have to set it to default and then disable it again, because otherwise, when the alarm goes off, it starts its patrol. But look at it go!
Oh, it's adorable.
Oh, I'm a cold robot.
Baby gear.
So yeah, I'm gonna put this at the end of the courtyard. If you don't knock all the guys out and hide the bodies, and don't take the guys out that run, then they spot the bodies. Or the guys start patrolling looking for you in the courtyard as well, and you have a whole mess of dudes.
So you gotta account for the dude mess.
Yep. So I'm putting that mine just there, so it knocks the guys that run to the end of it out.
This seems like a harebrained scheme more than anything else.
I've got a plan.
Pritchard, are you still tracking the scientists?
Of course.
Simulate feedback along that route. Make it strong enough to vibrate their implants. They have to feel it.
A signal, eh? Not bad, Jensen. I'm sending it now.
Oh god, their heads exploded.
Oh, it was too much signal.
So look, this guy lags behind, so you have to knock him out yourself.
Nice.
And you don't have to trank these guys, but I did, just to be a knob. And look at them go, straight into the mine. Boop. Ah, sleepy time.
The poo gas.
And you don't lose your ghost rank there. That's so easy to take care of them. But what you do have to do is you're going to take as many grenades as you can. Because if you're going to see in a minute, this little area is preparing you for a poorly designed boss fight.
Oh, the boss fights.
Yeah. They shouldn't have been in. They should have been in if you played a standard shooter run, but if you were doing stealth, it should have been slightly different. They tried to fix it in the director's cut, but we've got a boss fight with Namir, the last surviving member of the Black Ops team.
Oh, isn't that the guy who, like, screwed you up in the beginning?
He is, yeah, the guy who's got muscle texture for cyber limbs. Until next time.